Welcome to an introduction to accounting and to the use of spreadsheets. In this podcast we are going to look at using a formula that's already within Microsoft Excel, and we can find that formula if we go to the Functions tab. Right, the name this little exercise, we're going to call it a mortgage calculator. And there are a number of pieces of information you need for a mortgage, which include the rate of interest on an annual basis. We're going to say that that is a rate of 5%. We then need the monthly rate of interest, and to get that we are simply going to say, okay, let's take the value of that cell and divide it by 12, and that will give us an answer there. The number of years that we want to have the mortgage for, let's say we're going to borrow the money for 14 years, and then the number of repayments that we're going to make, well, that's going to be equal to that number of years multiplied by 12. If we're going to make monthly repayments, we'll assume we are making monthly repayments, and the principal, the amount we're going to borrow, which for convenience we'll say is £100,000. Now here's the little trick that Excel does. If we look at the functions, we can have financial functions, and I'm going to pull it down to the interest calculator, which is PMT. I'm just going to move that where we can see it more clearly. It asks us for the rate. Now we can give the rate here as the interest rate per period for the loan. In other words, we could use that rate of interest divided by 12. We'll see why I'm doing it in two ways in a minute. We could use the number of periods, which would be that one multiplied by 12, and we could have the principal, obviously, which is that, and that's the information that we need, and our repayments would be £828.87. We can also show this in another way. I want to do exactly the same thing, except that I'm going to my financial one again, and the reason that I moved this around this way is because we've already done that calculation. So in fact I know that that's my rate, and I know that that's my number of periods, and I know that that's my capital. You see I get exactly the same answer. We can do something else here. We can name the cell. So we can call that the rate of interest. Okay, we can name this cell as the number of years, and we can name this cell as the principal. So I'm now going to go down and look at our financial formula again. And the rate now is the rate of interest, divided by 12 on the way that we've got it. The number of periods will be the number of years multiplied by 12, and the principal will be the principal. This sometimes makes it easier for someone to follow, so if I click OK, we're going to get exactly the same answer again. So I just like to highlight those for you. So we'll just go to the mortgage calculator there, format the cells, put in the borders, and that makes it easier to see, except we've got those two joined. We might select those two cells, go to the home page and click on merge and center. That makes it even tidier to look at. Okay, so we have three different methods. We're all going to give us the same answer of filling in the details to calculate the mortgage payments per month. all using the inbuilt formula within Microsoft Excel. That one simply refers to cells. This one we did a little bit of calculation, so we needed fewer references. But this one was probably the most interesting, because by naming the cells, then when someone looks at the formula, they can see more clearly the exact detail that we are referring to. In this case, we're referring to the rate of interest divided by 12, number of years multiplied by 12, and the principal. Okay, thank you.